This podcast is an electronic stroll through life with an evolving theme. Real topics will be discussed with a focus on growth, enlightenment, with a side of healing laughter. I am Tiffany Danielle, a motivational comedian, author. Today we have a special guest that will be joining us. I am so exciting. We're going to be talking about co-parenting alone. Last week we had my first special guest, my oldest blessing, my number one. Gregory Baker joined us to talk about being raised in a single parent household as a Black male in America. And then today, I feel like this is a part two to that. We did go over a lot of the statistics previously that show that children who grow up in a two-parent household perform better in school, are less likely to commit crime, and have higher future earning potentials. And so I think I've talked about this before. There is a direct correlation, even from the zip code the child is born in, to they can predict a lot of things in their life just from where they're born. So are they born in a food desert? Are they born in a place where poverty is stricken, where they have less access to health care? There are, I want to say 40% of healthcare providers, 40% of locations do not have a mental health care provider in that providing location. So think about that. If you have some type of mental issue where you can use assistance processing, it's not you're crazy. It is you went through something traumatic. You are overwhelmed. Life happens and you need somebody to help you process. Hey, Keita. You need to sit down with somebody. It is always good to have an additional person that is unbiased to hear what you have to say, to talk to you, to be able to give you not necessarily even advice, but tools for you to handle life. And that's one of the things that you want. One of the things I say at work a lot is I want to add tools to your tool belt. So there's always different situations where you need a different tool. You cannot use a hammer for everything. You can't use a Phillips screwdriver for everything. And contrary to popular belief, duct tape and WD-40 don't fix everything. It can fix some things though. But regardless of having those few things in your tool belt, if you don't have enough things to help you handle life, you'll have a problem. And so I was having a discussion earlier today, and I told this person that I was going to be more intentional about what I chose to participate in, more intentional about what I participated in, and what I allowed myself to experience. And that includes social media. So people are like, social media is evil. You got to set yourself back from it. You know, sometimes I delete it from my phone, but instead of doing that, could you just be more intentional? Look at who you're following. There are friends that I have that I love dearly, and I have had to snooze them for 30 days. There are friends that I love dearly that I have had to unfollow them. So we stay friends, but they don't show up in my stream because they weren't feeding the positivity in my soul. My love bucket was empty, y'all. My chum bucket was full and my love bucket was empty, and that is not a good feeling. Chum stinks. Have y'all ever, do y'all fish? You know how chum smells? So if your life is not full of love, if your life is not full of the things that you're constantly pouring out of, then you're going to have a problem. Some of the other things we talked a little bit again about children that are raised in a single parent household, and this did not differentiate between whether it's a single parent household, wonderful, or whether it's a father or a mother that's that. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I am wonderful. And so let me do a little quick intro. So I have to say, this is my oldest female cousin, Sherry. She is the most amazing young woman who sometimes does not necessarily see how amazing she is. We have conversations that I feel are life changing for me. And we were talking last week, and I was like, Sherry, will you come on my podcast and talk with me? I need people to hear some of the conversations that we have. And so this is my beloved cousin, Sherry. Sherry, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
So would you like to share anything about yourself before we dig into it?
Well, what I would like to say is, thank you for those awesome compliments. I feel the exact same way about you. I guess, us being cut from the same cloth, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, not really, not in particular. I just, I'm really happy to be here and to, give my expertise maybe or my position
Okay.
on the topic. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so apparently Sherry's horn is broke. So let me use my horn to blow a little bit more for her. Sherry is an entrepreneur. She is the sole financial provider for her amazing, my second cousin, Khalil. He is an amazing, accomplished young man. And one of the things that I appreciate about my cousin is she thinks about her son in the process of things. And so a lot of times that's really hard for us as mothers. We're in relationships. We want to be in relationships. We want to have that groove thing. We want to get our groove thing on. But we have little people in the
Mm.
house. And so, Sherry, how old were you when you had Khalil?
How old was I when I had Khalil?
Yeah,
26.
26. So
I
I
was
was
26.
23 when I had Gregory. She was 26 when she had Khalil. And it is one
For
of
a
the
lot of
amazing.
women.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. Were you?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something. And so, when did you really have that moment when you said, "Oh my God, I'm responsible for life"? When did it hit you?
um, Probably when I was probably about 6 months pregnant.
Wow. Yeah. So was it like the
Yeah,
kicking,
when
or was it the doctor talking to you? What
it was
started?
probably my size. It
Oh.
was probably because, it was quite apparent that I was pregnant. It was like you could hide it or anything of that nature. So, that's what it was for me, and the changes that your body make.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
therefore, it wasn't as though that I could walk as fast as I could. I really couldn't just take off and run. At the time, I didn't have a vehicle, so I was on city transportation. So it wasn't like I could just take off and run for the bus if I needed to.
See,
It was, yeah, it definitely was when my body began to change
come on. You
because,
was going through changes. And so
yeah,
let me say
yeah.
this. My cousin, so y'all can see that I'm fluffy. I am perfectly I have no problem saying my actual weight. I'm actually 100 and anointed. So that's my perfect weight and I'm an extra medium. But my beautiful cousin Sherry is a size 0 and she's what, about 4'10", what you is? Come on,
I
let's
am
be
not
honest.
zero.
Huh?
Well,
Well, tell the people the
I,
truth. Shame the
I
devil. Put him in shame. Okay, you
I
were a
am
0
a
before you got pregnant.
no. I've never been a zero. I've never ever ever been a zero. No, 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 no. And I call myself a fat skinny girl because
You got a
I
booty,
have
but
no. I have a midsection.
mm,
And I have to work on that, Yeah, I might be looking slim from the back, but then when you turn around and you got all this extraness, you're like, so is she pregnant? That's what they want to
the
know.
devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. You
He's
gonna
a
shame him.
bald faced lie.
See, Okay. So what had happened was, so you hit that 6 month mark, you realize you were pregnant. And so, one of the things that we have talked about is we both had to walk away from relationships when we realized that
Hmm.
they were not feeding to our children. And so I've talked about this before. And for those of you that are on YouTube and, on Facebook Live, you can actually see this. I've talked about these little spiral bound notebooks, and don't pay attention to the name because we get free stuff at the hospital. So I utilize that, which is free. Therefore, there, so whenever. And I also like colors, and so these are the things that I have like on my door, the kids' doors, and the front door. And mine is actually dated, and so the first one in this particular notebook is August 8th, 2016. Um, if the engineer wasn't pretending to be invisible, he could verify that this is true. And so this is literally pages and pages of things like it says Tiffany enjoys her success. Tiffany sees the best in people. Tiffany has joyous experiences one after another. Tiffany is improving with age. Tiffany helps others through her business. And so these are the things that I literally write in different colors because colors invoke emotions and responses. And so this is one of the things I've talked about doing for my little people. Sherry, you want to share one of the things that you do with Khalil to build him up, that little gorgeous young man you created?
You said, I'm sorry,
One of the things
something
that
to share.
yeah, that you do with him to help build him up, as he goes out into the
Oh,
world. Yeah.
uh, um, well, one thing that I learned from my beautiful auntie is to encourage more and
hmm
criticize less.
What you say
I
that now?
believe that as as parents or just as human beings, we're always very quick to say when something is not right
Come on.
or when something needs to be better. But we very seldom, especially with our children,
hmm
do we say, "Oh, you did a great job." I think a lot of times we take for granted that they should, or we feel like, "Well, I've spent years or so many hours teaching you X, Y, and Z, so you should have it." But
hmm
I don't come from that particular angle. I just, and it could be the smallest thing, even with, even with my little people, it's the small things, right, that they always say that matters.
hmm
So when he would do the simplest thing, I would just really, really thank him for it. When he would take the initiative to start dinner, I just always thanked him. Whenever he did anything that was positive, I always made it a point to say something about it. Because we stay on them about their grades, we stay on
hmm
them about cleaning up their room. It's tons of things that you could always fuss about,
Come on.
but I always wanted him to know that, I really recognize when you are putting forth the effort to do anything, you did a great job. Thank you for taking the trash out without me having to ask you.
Come on.
All those things make them feel encouraged. And that's what I really wanted to do. I just really wanted to encourage him because he is an African American male. And there's so many things out here in the world to beat them down. Because
hmm
guess what? What we don't realize is that a lot of times those teachers, the instructors,
What'd you
beat them
say?
down or ignore them.
Tell them the
I just
truth.
didn't want to be part of that. Mhm.
And your son
Mhm.
is very much like Gregory. He is a very tall, statuesque. I don't. He didn't get his height from his mama, just like mine didn't get his height from me. Them jeans pulled straight from their daddies. Chocolate,
They
good-looking
did.
gentlemen. And we know that
Yeah.
people will stereotype them just based off the fact that they are large, they are dark, and they are male. And
Yeah.
so, Khalil is just like Gregory. He's well spoken, and he is just he's a blessing to you. And so you mentioned very briefly the little people, and so people know about my Noah, who is 7 years old. But who are the little people you are referring to, Miss Sherry?
My little people are Sean and Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
Harvey. They are my twins that are 10 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
Um, I did not actually carry a set of twins. God blessed me they came into my life from someone else.
Come on, you had some
And
paperwork for them babies, huh?
yeah, I got paperwork on these. And, by this being my second go round, I the patience that I have
Come
is just
on.
so amazing. That's one thing that I would definitely say to any parent, especially a single parent, be it male or female, you just really, really have to muster up a lot of patience. And even when you feel like you just really want to pop off, it's probably best that you don't,
Come on. And so
because
let's throw
it's
this out there too.
always,
I'm
hmm
sorry, let's throw
it's,
this out there. So, you referenced my mother, and so she is or was, before she graciously retired, Crown Regional Specialist for the state of Florida. She was a content expert for birth to age 3. And so we both got a lot of that. These are things that you should do. Now, she never beat us over the head, but she gave us lots of information to help us, raise our children to the
hmm
fullest. And we still
hmm
ask the Queen Ellie Chisholm for information about children. And so one of the things that she actually told both of us is that make sure your expectations are age appropriate. So, we've
hmm
seen people, they're like, why does, it's a 2-year-old just dropping stuff over and over. And you're like, stop that, stop that, stop that, stop that. But at 2, that is age appropriate. Why are you expecting a 2-year-old to act like a 15-year-old and sit still and not do things? Then that tells me something's wrong with your head and in your mind and in your brain and thing, because you're expecting something from a child. You're setting them up to fail, that they can't give you what you're asking
Yeah.
them for. So that now we're able also to step back a little bit more, and that's where that patience, I think, comes in. Is like we're more cognizant of what is age appropriate. Like Sean and Marcus at 10 years old, no, we can't expect them. But did you go to the grocery store, Sean? Marcus, why you ain't drive your brother to the store? You look crazy doing that. But you've learned from the first go round, like some of our expectations were not age appropriate, and some of that comes from that frustration too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would definitely say, the second go round, I've learned just simply that whenever it is a situation, it's not the end of the world.
Come on.
It's just not. Let's just keep it moving. So this is the thing, and they know the morning routine. They know the
They
morning
know
routine.
it. We
But
get up and
somebody
brush our teeth every day, Jesus. We are the hand
exactly.
washing
And
crew. We
watch
don't have corona. We wash our hands, our butts, and our
exactly.
feet. Come on. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. Exactly. Or how about, now that would be, I will really, really be annoyed at the fact that you have gotten in the car and you haven't washed your face.
Come on.
No, no, I'll just simply say, and a part of it is my fault, because I should ask before we even get in the car when they come out of the bathroom, did you wash your face? Did you do this? And hey, if you didn't, just go back.
See,
Just go back. It
can I
used to be the
imitate you
time
for a
that I go,
minute? Sean, Sean, is that crust in your eye? We only have crust in our bread in this house. You're not getting in my car with crust in your eye. Go back and wash your face, Sean. Marcus, why is there white stuff in the corner of your mouth? This is not yogurt. Go back, brush the teeth again. Get the toothpaste from your
you
mouth,
got it.
okay? Okay, that's my
You
cousin. I'm
got it.
sorry.
That's exactly the way that it is. You got it verbatim. Are you here in the morning? Really?
I've
Yeah.
known you for a
So
couple years.
now I'll just simply say, go back, did you wash your face? And then they'll start with these long, drawn out answers, which I've learned that it just means no.
Yes.
So, I'll just cut them off like, look, you don't have to explain. Just go back in there and do it. It's okay. And I think part of the reason that they are beginning to explain is because I would take their privileges,
Mm,
because they love their game. I
come
would
on.
take their privileges if they wouldn't do the most simplest thing. But now I say, just chill, and they're gonna get it. It's bigger fish to fry. You don't
Come on.
have to do it because of that. I think that's something again that came with age. Like everything is not a major issue.
Come on.
It's really not, because you're going to, what you don't want to do is stress yourself out. Life is stressful enough. So if you don't have to add that extraness, just don't. It just makes for you to be a more happier person. It keeps you looking younger.
Come
It
on,
keeps
because
those
you show is
elements
smooth. I'm
that
looking at your skin. Your skin is smooth and shellacked, my cousin. You look beautiful in things. Look, and you one of
well,
the
you
people,
know
you
what?
got your side teeth too. I'm looking at your smile. You got your side teeth. You was blessed and anointed of the Lord. See? Come
I I
on.
thank you. I thank you. But again, I really try to be a loving, stress-free person, and that
Right.
is what it is. Notice I ain't say that I'm talking about, a whole bunch of religion. No.
Mm.
But I really do try to, be in touch with my, what is it? Have my spirituality to grow and
Yes.
know what that is, and be and center myself so that I can hear God when He's
Mm-hmm.
talking to me, or whoever your higher being
Mm-hmm.
it just really it really works. And He'll do the rest for you.
Yes.
Being a single parent is very challenging. Don't
Come
get me
on.
wrong. But if you put your child first, everything else falls into place. Because most times, whatever is best for your children or your child is best for you.
Come
It may
on.
not be what you want. It may not be what you want, but it definitely is what's best. It's definitely what's best. And we don't, when you're being a parent, you don't really get any do overs.
Come on.
You get one shot at this, and you don't want to mess it up.
You better do the Eminem. You got one shot. Don't want to mess this up. And I want to throw this out there. So we've learned this. So we've gone through. We got the morning routine. We got things we got to do. And this is the day that Gregory decides I am going to dance. I need to turn on the music and I'm dancing. I know it's 7:02. And if we're not in the car by 7:12, then we're going to be late to school. What
Yeah,
happens if I
yeah.
take 3 minutes and dance with him so that I don't take him to school with a bad attitude? We can dance for 3 minutes. What's the worst? I have to sign you in the front office, so you're going to miss the Pledge of Allegiance. We can stand in the front office and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they can walk you to their class. These things are not that detrimental in the scheme of things. Is it better to go ahead and take a breath and let them have a little bit of fun in the morning? Or go back and wash your face because you don't want to be the kid with the bad breath that don't nobody want to talk to you because you didn't go back and brush your teeth. We still got the little boy we call pee pee boy because remember he smelled like pee pee because his mama wouldn't let him
And
go
you
back in the
never
house
forget that.
and take a bird bath and wash that pee. You were an attorney. People know that's the boy used to smell like pee. He's a doctor now. That's the
Hey,
boy used to smell like pee. That's the boy. His breath always used to be stank. We still label those kids. So we're trying to raise kids that don't need therapy because of us and are not labeled the pee pee or the boo boo
there
boy.
you go.
Come on.
There you go. I don't want my children to have to go to therapy because of me. If they have to sit on the couch or lay on the couch, I want it to be not, anything but myself. And listen, to add to what you said about cousin Gregory and dancing in the morning, all of that makes you closer to your
Hmm.
children.
Yes, it does.
And that is what you want, because at the end of the day, they are not going to be in your household forever. They're going
Forever,
to be
ever.
out here in the world forever, ever. And you want them, number one, if they do have a situation, to feel like they can call and talk to you. And you want them to know that you are always in their corner no matter what. And
Right,
that's really important, as a parent. I don't think parents really get that.
right.
They think you think that your child is gonna always come and tell you, and no, they
They're not.
don't.
They're not. I
They
remember
don't.
when Gregory came to me and we were talking about condoms and whether them and why would you need a Magnum condom? And in my spirit, I was like, you know how many years I was celibate because you're behind would come in my room at 2 in the morning, Mama, I can't sleep and I can't get none because you won't stay in your room at 2 in the morning. I do know what an orgasm would do to my stress level. I could smile more. That twitch is because I hadn't had an orgasm in 5 years because you won't sleep and stay in your room all night and you want to ask me about a Magnum. No, you don't. You need to be celibate and feel my pain. I want your balls to drag the carpet. I want to drag the carpet to pay me back for all the 4 years of celibacy. It was just me and my movies and books, and I was just sitting in that corner rocking. I just wanted one little orgasm. That's all I wanted. So, you want him to be able to come to you and say, Mom, it when you go to the bathroom, it just smell like candles. But when my girlfriend went in the bathroom, it smelled like fish. What does that mean? That means bacterial vaginosis, and you don't want to touch that. Okay, that means that
Wow.
she has an unclean spirit, and you want to cast it out of your bed. Okay, you know, vaginas are not meant to smell like pineapples and strawberries and things, and they're gonna have different things going through. I want my son to be able to come to me and ask me about, okay, Why did her clit look like a small penis? Why? Why
I
was that?
feel
And I
you.
can tell him that no, she wasn't necessarily born a man. Clitorises come in different sizes. I need to be able to tell him that. Or if her clit got a little pee-pee hole in it, then she was born a man. That's a different thing. You check that. Turn the lights off.
Right.
Turn the lights on. Don't turn the lights off. I want my son to be able to tell me, yes, turn the lights on and check things out. Check them out. You see a little incision, a little healing where Adam's apple could have been. Tell Adam to get out your bed. You know, these are the conversations we should be able to have. And I know Khalil has come to you with some stuff that made you say, I wish you didn't talk to me.
You know, honestly, not quite. And you know what? By me being a hairstylist, you know, I have been privy to, you know, teenagers and
Mm.
teenage females sitting in my chair.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you know, due to me being a mom and kind of understanding, and another thing, I never forgot, just something else, parents, don't forget how it was for you.
Come on.
You know,
Now you
don't
done got
forget.
holy.
So I always ask God to allow me to never forget, you know, how it was. Because I think a lot of times for me, I was just, you know, misunderstood, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I know that they've got to have somebody to talk to. And no matter what, I can't act like, oh, God, really. I just had this conversation with one of my clients.
Come
I
on.
do, she and her daughter. And she found out that, you know, her 15-year-old is, you know, sexually active, so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth. And, you know, for a lot of us, you know, it's easier when it's our son, right, to
Yes.
accept. But when it's our daughter, it's a whole nother vibe.
Can
My
we say
thing
this?
is, hey,
Girls are the nasty
son
ones.
or think it's son or daughter, it don't matter because guess what? My son has to be with somebody's daughter. So
Right.
that's just as much my responsibility as it is her mother's for that matter.
Well, let me say
And you
this.
know,
For all you women with y'all children in church, y'all got the nastiest children. It was a
um,
praise team leader that seduced my son in between singing Kirk Franklin songs and John P. Key and who's the little short guy and Leandrea Johnson. Y'all singing praise teams. Y'all trying to make my son call on Jesus. You little nasty churchgoers. Little nasty churchgoers. I need all y'all women with y'all children in the church. Y'all need to know your daughter's a hoe. She's a hoe. She been
yes,
singing praise team songs with no drawers on, and I'm telling you, I know that because she molested my
and
son.
that's where a lot of the you know the perpetration and
Did you say
the
penetration?
hiding and
You said penetration or perpetration?
perpetration.
Okay. Did I tell you I didn't get penetrated for 5 years because of my kids? Did I tell you that? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you know, you just got to be able to listen to them and not
Mm-hmm.
squirm because guess what? They're watching you. And your
Yes.
kid always knows what's making you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to be, you know, big girls and big boys about this and
Come
all that
on.
squirming and all of that. You got to knock it off because they, you know, you again. The whole point of it is to have a close relationship with them so that they will talk to you. A lot of
Right.
times they're not going to talk to us because they just don't trust us. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel that
Because of your previous
one
reaction,
of
like you
the
said. Go ahead.
exactly, but I do think a lot of times being a single parent, if you are, you know, really on top of things, it definitely makes you and your child closer because y'all are a team. That was one thing that I always um what put with Khalil that
Mm-hmm.
we're a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're a team. You know, nobody. You know, we're a team. So that just made him feel part of it. You know,
Right.
part of the whole picture. Like, you know, just as much as I need you to be on top of your game, he needed me to be on top of mine.
That's
You
it.
know,
You both have roles
so
to
that was
play
just
to make the house successful.
exactly exactly. And I listened to him. You know, maybe that was a luxury that he and I had because it was just he and I for
Mm-hmm.
like for 14 years before you know Sean and Marcus came into our lives. You know, maybe you know that was definitely it. But I just really and it's boy or girl. You know, single parent. Is
Mm-hmm.
you know, please don't ever feel that just because you're a female, that you can't be close to your male son.
That's
And
right.
another thing, don't baby them.
Come on. I had a friend who was feeding her 13-year-old, cutting his food up, putting it in his mouth so he could play the video game while she was feeding him. I'm like, whoever dates him is going to curse you because there's no reason. Come, get 13 years old, you feeding him so he can play his video game?
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
certain, and so I'm not saying that they don't need the male counterparts, but I'm saying that there is something that we can help them with, as a feminine energy to help them in their masculinity. We can help them know how a lady is supposed to act. We can help them set expectations. I had Gregory opening my door. Gregory been taking out trash cans since he was tall enough to drag it. You get your little rag and you're gonna drag.
Amen.
Man, and I can't. I mean, I know a lot of times people don't those sexist roles, but in my house, men's is do men's things and women do women things. I'm gonna fix your plate. I'm gonna cook. You're gonna take the trash out. You're gonna fix this leaky faucet. And now I'm not saying you got to do
Ah.
that in your house, but in my house, because it sets a tone for there's this, I don't care how you may feel, but there is a certain thing, because I have to come from this with the healthier thing. They're genetically, a weak woman is typically weaker than a weak man. I mean, a strong woman is typically weaker
Yeah.
than a strong
Yeah.
man. So let that man be a man. Let him understand that there are certain roles and there are certain expectations. So he won't be that man. So girl, let me get $10 from you and borrow your car. I'll be back in about an hour. Raise your son on he ain't asking a woman for no money and to drive her car. Raise him to have his own car and his own money. Okay?
Amen.
Come on.
Amen. Amen. Oh my goodness. Like, you are never to live off of a female. Never.
Jesus.
Never, never, never.
Come on. And even, I'm
Mm-mm.
going to give this example. Jesus and Paul needed to pay their taxes. Did they collect an offering? No. Did they go ask Mary Magdalene, say, yo, look here, Mary, we got to pay them taxes. You don't want us to go to jail. Let me get them 6 shillings so I can pay these taxes. They went fishing to get the money to pay their taxes. So Jesus can go and fish for his 6 shilling. Brother, you can go fish. You can sell some oranges. You can wash cars. You can, if you got to work 2 jobs, whatever you got to do, don't be up in no woman pocket. Don't be asking a woman for no money.
And
Amen.
I think we as moms, we have to make sure that we are not in relationships that mirror that. Like a lot of times what we as parents fail to realize is that children are gonna do what they see us do.
Regardless
It
of what
doesn't
you
matter
say.
what comes out of your mouth. If the words that are coming out of your mouth, if your behaviors are not supporting it, they're gonna do what you're doing. So if you don't want your son to be taking advantage of a woman or living off of a woman, you can't allow a man to. And sometimes we as females, you just want to be in a relationship, and a lot of times it's just not the proper time.
That's
Because
right.
it takes so much energy to be a parent,
That's right.
especially a single one, and
Come
you still
on.
gotta work too.
Come on.
My God.
We are not
You
financially in such a situation we didn't have to work. We ain't got no trust funds yet.
No, I had to
Jesus.
work. You gotta work.
Come on.
And you gotta work. You gotta work hard too.
Come on.
That was one of the things that just really hurt my feelings a lot pertaining to being a single parent, because the child support really didn't come in on a regular basis, so I could never depend on it. And even besides the child support, it was hard for me to depend on him to be a supportive parent in my son's life as well. So again, that kept me, seeing as how I couldn't depend on him financially, I had to work longer hours. I had to work more days, and then that just left our son, to by himself. I was just blessed that he was a really good kid at heart.
Yes.
So, he didn't, he went to school like he was supposed
You
to.
had to choke him.
He wasn't a bully.
That's it.
He didn't talk back to the teachers. He really wasn't angry, because a lot of times those are the pieces that cause a child to be angry, because they're lacking that support. that they need from that other parent. And then
That's
the
it.
one parent got to work so hard that by the time they get home, they don't feel like doing nothing but sitting down and trying to recuperate and get ready for the next day to do it
For it to
all
start
over
over
again.
again. And so I am
Amen.
so thankful to have you on this show. I'm so thankful for you and Terry, and I'm Betty. And so, we're about to end our time here, but I want you, if there is like a parting word, given some tidbits, but what is your parting word for the people? And I also want to say in the process that we have been co-signed by one of the JSO sheriff's officers, has agreed and said that we are daggone right. But is there one more thing you'd like to say to the people before we say goodnight tonight?
I would, just remember that they don't stay uh, little or young forever,
Mm-hmm.
and they do get older, and it does get better.
Yes. Thank you, cousin. I love you.
I love you more. I love you
Yes.
more.
Yes. So again, this is my oldest and most illustrious cousin Sherry, who is an entrepreneur, a mother. She is a sister. She's a daughter. She's a blessing, and I just want to thank her for joining us
Oh,
tonight.
thank you.
And I will talk to you
I
later,
had a
darling.
really good time.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Bye. So, to my listeners, to my participants, I want to say thank you so much. Please like, comment, and share. That is a way that you can support this endeavor to let me know I'm not just crazy, that y'all enjoy this. I want to say that starting next week, you'll actually be able to get to see a podcast live. We're going to have a wine and chat. The information is on my Facebook page, Conversations with an Evolving Queen. It is tickets because it's limited seating, because they're giving us free wine, y'all. So we're gonna cut up a little bit. I have to say I'm actually not under the influence of anything except for my shortcomings mentally, and I'm like this. So y'all gonna get to see me live, get to cut up a little bit with us. So please join us starting March 18th. And we'll have some free wine, some tasting. We'll get to talk. We'll get to chat it up a little bit rather than just seeing your comments on the screen. I appreciate you. Again, this podcast is available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, Google Play, YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It makes a difference. Can I say algorithm? For each comment, each like, each subscription, it bumps me up a little bit. Please share it on your page. Even if you don't agree with me, you might be wrong, but you cannot agree with me but still share it. So I love you all. And until next week when it's live, please like, comment, and share. Thank you. Good night, guys.